much more in a day? You outran Don Garlitz, and now you outdrove Dick LaHaye. You ran a little slower, but you won.
Too. Dick LaHaye and Kim are my favorite drag racers out here.
A lot of people in the stands that feel the same way. You got lane choice by 1/100th.
Oh, gosh, we're lucky. Maybe our luck's changing, Steve. Hope so.
Lane choice, some people think, is pretty important here as it cools off.
Both lanes seem pretty good. You know, they're fairly equal. But then you could get an oil down. You know, that's the big difference.
As we talked earlier, mechanical problems have plagued you when you get this far, but so far so good.
We've been hurting things, you know, been pushing some bearings out and stuff like that, but we're lucky right now to be where we are against this kind of competition.
We'll let you get a head start back to the pits. I indeed know that. So it'll be Gary Beck and this man in the final of Top Fuel. Okay, let's go to Brock Yates and get the Dick LaHaye story.
Dick, that's a hard way to lose it.
Yeah. Somebody was running around the car up on the start line, and I seen Buster keep motioning for something, and I lost my concentration. I don't know what in the world was going on up there. It wasn't one of my crew, but I didn't even look and see who it was.
That's all it takes, though, isn't it? Just a wink of loss of concentration.
That's it. Just, you know, I'm sick about it. I mean, the car's been running excellent.
And a great pass, otherwise.
Yeah, I think
566.
we've run just about low ET every round.
Well, Dick, fantastic show so far this year. We'll know you come back, and it's just a hard way to lose it, I know.
Yeah, okay.
Boy, depression just written all over the face of Dick LaHaye. A lot of peaks and valleys in this sport, Dick. You got to remember that, too. Well, Bill Mullins and the John and Shirley Carey crew, and this is Bill's young son, they're plenty happy because they're going into the final round against Gary Beck. And Bill Mullins will have the lane choice. Stay with us for the funny car semifinals coming up next.
Bill Mullins, Top Fuel dragster, a component that helped carry him into the finals here at the Budweiser Spring Nationals. He'll go up against Gary Beck. That is his crew chief there, John Carey, an expert in diesel mechanics and also a guy who's been around a few superchargers in his life, Steve Evans.
Yeah, probably couldn't have fixed more than 5,000 or 6,000 of them in his career. He knows what he's doing. You hear that noise back at the starting line? Well, that's the semifinals of Funny Car getting ready. The body latching down on Don Prudhomme's Trans Am. Oh, Brock, just to make a finals would really cheer the snake up. He has been so down about his lack of performance, but here he's been red hot.
Well, he's been plenty sharp. They just lost the handle on that very, very mysterious business of fuel flow into the supercharger, and maybe now he's got that sorted out. On the other hand, Kenny Bernstein on the other lane, boy, he just can't seem to get it wrong.
World champion Mark Oswald, Brock told me, we don't even know where to begin to imitate what Bernstein is doing. He's running like a 370 rear-end ratio in that car. We run maybe a 390 or a 410. He said if we put his gear ratio in our car, it probably wouldn't have enough power to do a burnout. So they really are a long ways from catching up to Bernstein as far as the elapsed times, and more importantly, those consistently quick elapsed times.
Well, he and crew chief Dale Armstrong have done a fantastic job getting that race car prepared. Right now, though, it's up to Don Prudhomme to make the comeback of the day. If he can knock off Kenny Bernstein, this will be a major, major high point in his very recent career.
Well, they both ran in the 570 lap time range in the previous round. The difference, of course, as we've discussed, is that Bernstein seems to do it over and over again. You see the big white mark on that tire, Brock? That is so the crew on the starting line can detect tire slippage, and also it shows up almost like a strobe light in their videotapes. And most of these crews have one of the crew people assigned to do a videotape shot of the car leaving the starting line. So it is Kenny Bernstein in the far lane, Don Prudhomme in the near lane. For the fans, well, this is just a dream matchup.
It sure is. You've got Bernstein versus the four-time world champion Prudhomme. Good start, but then sideways, almost into the fence. It's over instantly. Kenny Bernstein, a 574. Good top-end speed, too.
Now, Bernstein did not have a good reaction time at all. Prudhomme was way, way out on him, but I would guess he was carrying the front wheels off the ground, Brock, and didn't have any steering.
Well, what a tough break for the Snake. He did a beautiful job for the first millisecond of this race, and then it was all over. Let's take a look. What a start.
Absolutely, and here you can see the front wheels off the ground. The car starts to turn left, and he had no choice but to get off of the throttle.
So it's over for the Snake, and it's unfortunate, too, because it looked as if he had a beautiful pass started. Kenny Bernstein into the Funny Car Finals here at the Spring Nationals, once again carrying on that incredible streak that he started earlier this year.
Now back in the Top Fuel pit area, Ed McCullough giving a hand on the top fuel dragster to be driven by Gary Beck, going up against Bill Mullins in the final round. So work seems to be proceeding there on schedule in both of those camps, Mullins and Beck's.
They looked very deliberate as they put that engine back together. Not any kind of panic here. So you can be sure that they will take their time and assemble that thing with everything torqued down properly. That is a very careful, very highly qualified crew. All right, the next pairing in the semifinals, a funny car. That is John Collins backing up. He is very, very strong, getting stronger all the time. Steve seems to be gaining poise with each one of these big events we come to.
And boy, has his driving ever been on. He has hole-shotted his way to this point. Now, Billy Meyer, he's usually pretty quick off the starting line. Seldom do you get away on him. Meyer in the far lane, that is a Ford Mustang body car and a pretty one.
Long wheelbase car. It looks a lot in its own way like the Bernstein car. It's a much longer car. You notice Collins, much stubbier, a little bit older design, but John Collins tries to make up for all that with just some terrific driving.
Now, Collins is the last to stage. He's ready like a cat. It is Collins away first. Collins got that whole shot, but Meyer has got the horsepower. It is Billy Meyer. 582 to John Collins, 594. Collins was 0.03 of a second quicker off the starting line, but Meyer was 0.12 quicker at the other end.
That was just a exhibition of raw horsepower on the part of Billy Meyer. Although he did a fine job, kept the car straight, and not really a bobble all the way in either one of these two automobiles. It was a good drag race, but again, it was simply horsepower on Billy Meyer's part that carries him into the finals and the dubious honor of facing Kenny Bernstein.
Well, Billy Meyer has the same kind of consistency as Kenny Bernstein. Unfortunately for Billy, it's about a tenth slower, a 582, but it gets you in the finals anyway.
Yeah, we are a little bit off the pace, but at least we don't have to fight the #1 contender till the end.
Well, you
kind of like Holmes. we'll wait until they make us fighting.
Well, you and your crew guy Jim Duffy are going to have to sit down and find that 10th. What do you do?
Probably throw the dice. So we've done it a few times in our life.
You put more nitro in it to drive the blower harder? What do you do?
We'll probably think about it on this little trip back, and we'll do one of them three right there, maybe all three of them.
We'll check with Billy in the pits.
All right, it's going to be an all-Texas funny car final. Let's go to Brock with John Collins.
Okay, it was just a question of just simple horsepower here.
He definitely outpowered me. We run real well. We run 570 last week in Bristol, Tennessee, and we just haven't found the combination from one week to the next. So,
well, first, if you could have won it in the first couple of 100 yards, you'd have had him.
yeah, if I'd have got a little more starting line advantage, I actually saw more yellow, more amber light that time than I did the first two rounds. So I imagine that my reaction times were a little slower that run than they were the previous two rounds.
Well, they were still a little quicker in Billy's, but it just wasn't enough this time.
Thanks.
Good try anyway, John.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Well, nobody worked any harder than John Collins and his group. They just came up a little bit short. The funny car final, Kenny Bernstein versus Billy Meyer. Bernstein will have the lane choice. Well, those are the hands and fingers of Bill Mullins, one of our top fuel finalists. The final assembly of the blower going on right there in the pit area. They'll be ready. You can count on it. And we'll be back for the funny car and the Pro Stock final rounds right after this.
MIT, you see there, we're still at the Spring Nationals at the National Trail Raceway, but computers begin to play a bigger and bigger role in drag racing as we see Billy Meyer doing final calculations to make sure that everything is set. Fuel mixture, clutch setting, blower pressures, everything is now worked out on that little computer, Steve Evans.
And things aren't quite so squared away, Brock, over in the Bill Mullins top fuel camp. Disassembling the engine, they discovered a cracked cylinder head. So car owner, chief mechanic John Carey is in the trailer trying to either fix it or maybe borrow a replacement. Bill Mullins himself taking the pistons out of the motor. They'll look at all 8 of them. Anything that needs to be replaced will be.
Well, as Bill Mullins and his crew assemble that engine, let's go out to the starting line where we've got a Pro Stock final about ready to be unleashed.
And this is Bruce Allen driving for the Rear Morrison Hendrick Motorsports team, the same organization that won 4 Pro Stock World Championships with the late Lee Shepard. And boy, have they got their work cut out for him, Brock. How about Warren Johnson, huh? He is the class of the field, without any doubt.
He is indeed the only man really to show up representing the Oldsmobile in this particular class of racing. But boy, has he done a job with that car. As we said earlier, had a little trouble earlier in the season getting the chassis right, but now that thing is a real rocket. Could be a very interesting race. This young man, though, Allen, will be very, very much an underdog, I would imagine, just because of his inexperience.
Oh, I think so, Brock. And Mirror and Morrison have not been matching the elapsed times of Warren Johnson consistently. They're at the starting line. The RPMs are coming up. They leave right together, wheels in the air, shift into second gear. Control problems for Bruce Allen. Bruce Allen throws in the towel. It is Warren Johnson all the way. His son, his wife, they are mighty pleased with the Spring Nationals victory. About $20,000 in prize money. He wins it with a 768, 180 miles an hour.
Big top-end burst, even though he didn't really need it. But Warren Johnson continues to show awesome power in the pro stock ranks. Good start, though, by young Bruce Allen. He is a comer. You'll hear more from him as the season progresses, Steve.
And he showed real poise, Brock. A pro stock car can be a dangerous automobile. As soon as it got twitchy, he got off it to race another day. The team will be proud of him for doing that. And what a season Warren Johnson is having. He won the Gator Nationals, the Cajun Nationals, and now the Spring Nationals. Could be a world championship in store for that man from Duluth, Georgia.
Very possibly. As we go down to the starting line for the funny car finals, they drop the lid on Billy Meyer's Mustang, and he moves into his burnout. This is going to be a good race, Steve. Myers versus Bernstein.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how Billy Meyer performs because, as you heard, Brock, he told me at the end of the racetrack, he'd try about anything. It's kind of a Hail Mary deal. I mean, he consulted that little calculator of his, but I think in the final analysis is he probably just put in all the nitromethane he could fit in the tank.
Whereas Bernstein really does use that computer. Who's to know how much that's influencing his driving? Nobody's saying much about that on his crew.
Some of the other crew's suspicion, Brock, that the computer is shifting the car or it's being shifted by fuel pressure, and that would help account for the consistency that they have found.
Well, it's mighty, mighty interesting that they are doing such a good job. Of course, some of that credit has to go to Kenny Bernstein. You still got to sit in that rocket and steer it down that quarter mile. And believe me, that's man's work under any circumstances.
Oh, I think the drivers of these cars are highly underestimated, Brock, because they don't turn left or turn right or run into each other on an old dirt track somewhere. It takes, you're right, a lot of concentration, and it takes tremendous physical ability, because in some of these cars, especially Billy Meyer, there's 5 different things you have to do from the starting line to the finish line. Do one wrong and you can blow the body right off it.
We've seen that happen as both cars are staged now, and we got ourselves a shootout that's going to be mighty, mighty fascinating. They're off together. Good start, but Myers out of it right away, Steve.
Well, I have a feeling Billy Meyer, out of just desperation, put in an awful lot of nitro and maybe thought, well, let's see if we can make some lapse time with a tighter clutch. And all it did was smoke the tires. So Kenny Bernstein wins his 4th NHRA national event of the season. An incredible record. Watch Meyer's car in the near lane.
Well, he just lays down a whole lot of rubber, and up it goes in smoke. He blazes the tires and said, forget it, that isn't going to work. I might just as well shut it down. And on goes Bernstein. Billy had him for about the first 10 feet, but well, not enough. It's 1,320 to win this one. And that honor goes to Kenny Bernstein.
As impressive a funny car performance as I have seen in a long time. Congratulations, Kenny Bernstein.
Thank you, Steve. I appreciate it very much. Shook hard, real hard.
Well, that accounts for it slowing to a 581. But every other run was within 200ths of a second. That's so hard to achieve with a car like this.
It really is. It's difficult in any form of racing, especially in these type, because it's a quarter mile. There's so many things that can go wrong, but Dale Armstrong, my crew, Jeff and Kurt and Charlie, those guys just did super. Brad, all of them, they did great.
You may enjoy this advantage for quite a while because the funny car crew chiefs I've talked to don't even know where to start to imitate you.
Well, I don't know about that. Armstrong's really got a handle on it, but don't forget, what goes up comes down, but right now we're going to have a Budweiser.
And don't they deserve it? Here comes the crew for Kenny Bernstein. They've won it 3 races this year.
A terrific performance by this crew. An awesome performance, in fact. We'll be back with Top Fuel and a little jet car action for you right after.
Here at the Budweiser Spring National, you're looking at Gary Beck, one of the finalists in Top Fuel Eliminator. In the opposite lane from Pelham, Alabama, will be Bill Mullins. I'm Steve Evans along with Brock Yates and Ed Bruce. And Brock, I wouldn't even pick a favorite here. Even though Beck is the defending champion, I think Mullins can match him wheel for wheel.
Well, so far, their ETs have been very, very close, but Gary Beck, maybe a little bit of edge. And also, Steve, the fact that he is the defending champion, he has maybe a little bit more poise, maybe a little more determination at this point.
I would tell you, Bill Mullins has probably been racing longer than Gary Beck has, not in the top fuel category. This is the first year for that. But he ran almost as quick with his little small block alcohol car and won numerous NHRA national events. Now, that man in the blue shirt right there, John Kerry, he wants a national event trophy badly. Not so much the money, that gets used up in parts and nitromethane pretty fast, but to have that classic NHRA trophy on the mantle, Gary Beck's got a lot of them. Bill Mullins just wants one.